Today's update matters, and it is important to speak clearly and calmly from the very beginning. There has been growing attention around late January and the IRS payment schedule, especially among seniors who rely on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits, pensions, and other fixed incomes. Many people are hearing the word stimulus again and wondering what it actually means this time, who may be included, and whether money is arriving earlier for some people than for others. This update explains what is officially happening, what the IRS schedule really affects, and how seniors should understand January payments without confusion or unnecessary worry. Over the past several weeks, financial headlines and online conversations have blended together several different topics. These include tax refunds, refundable credits, benefit adjustments, and older stimulus programs from previous years. For many older Americans, this mix of information has made it harder to tell what applies to them and what does not. That is why it is helpful to slow everything down and explain each part carefully, using clear language and practical facts so you can understand how late January fits into the bigger picture of IRS activity and senior finances. January is always a sensitive month for seniors. It is a time when cost of living adjustments begin, Medicare premiums are updated, tax reporting season opens, and benefit notices start arriving in the mail. When people hear that the IRS has a late January payment window, it naturally raises concerns. Many wonder whether money is coming, whether they need to take action, or whether something important could be missed. Understanding what this timing represents, and just as importantly, what it does not represent, can make a big difference in peace of mind. To understand what is happening, it helps to know how the IRS operates at the start of each year. January marks the official opening of the tax processing season. Even before most people file their tax returns, the IRS begins internal cycles related to payments that were already authorized. These can include refunds, refundable credits, and corrections from prior tax years. These payments are not all the same, and they do not apply to everyone equally. Some are automatic, some are corrective, and some are linked to earlier filings that required additional processing time. When people talk about a late January stimulus, they are often referring to IRS payment activity connected to refundable credits or adjustments that were approved earlier but scheduled for release during this processing window. This does not mean a brand new stimulus law has been passed. It means that money already authorized under existing tax rules is being released according to IRS timelines. That distinction is extremely important, especially for seniors. Many older adults do not file taxes every year because their income may come only from Social Security or retirement benefits. Others file only to report small amounts of pension income, interest, or to claim certain credits. Because of this, the IRS payment schedule affects seniors differently depending on whether they filed a return, whether they qualified for credits, and whether the IRS already had approval to release funds. There is no universal payment that goes out simply because it is late January. One of the most common sources of confusion is the recovery rebate credit. In earlier years, this credit allowed people who missed stimulus payments to claim them later on a tax return. While the main stimulus checks are no longer being issued in the same way, the IRS still processes corrections and delayed credits for individuals whose records were incomplete or adjusted. These corrections often appear early in the tax season, which is why January draws so much attention. Another source of confusion involves refundable tax credits. Some seniors qualify for refundable credits even if they do not owe taxes. When these credits are processed, the IRS issues payments that can look like stimulus checks, even though they are technically tax refunds or credit payments. The timing of these payments depends on when the IRS completes its verification steps. Late January is one of the periods when certain categories of payments are released, especially those that do not require extra review. For seniors receiving Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, it is critical to understand that these benefits are not paid by the IRS. They are paid by separate federal agencies, each with its own schedule. The IRS does not control monthly Social Security deposits. However, the IRS may interact with benefit data when determining eligibility for tax credits or corrections. This means a senior could receive an IRS payment and a benefit payment in the same month, but they come from different systems and follow different rules. Many seniors worry about whether they are first in line for these late January payments. The reality is that the IRS does not prioritize payments based on age or retirement status. Payments are released based on processing status. Those whose records match IRS data perfectly and do not require manual review are usually processed sooner. Seniors who do not file tax returns generally do not receive IRS payments unless a specific credit applies to them. Simply reaching late January does not trigger an automatic payment. Pension income adds another layer of confusion. Pension payments come from employers, pension funds, or government retirement systems, not from the IRS. However, taxes withheld from pensions are reported to the IRS, which is why pension income often gets linked to IRS activity. In January, many pension recipients receive annual tax forms summarizing the previous year's income. This reporting process happens around the same time the IRS opens its systems, but the two processes are separate. For seniors living on fixed incomes, even routine changes can feel unsettling. A delayed deposit or an unexpected payment can cause concern. It helps to know that IRS activity in January is planned and routine. It does not automatically signal a problem with benefits, and it does not mean that new money is coming for everyone. At the same time, some seniors will receive payments during this period. These are typically people who were owed money from prior filings, corrections, or approved credits. How payments are delivered also matters. Seniors who previously set up direct deposit with the IRS for tax refunds are more likely to receive any eligible payments quickly. Paper checks take longer and may arrive weeks after processing. This difference often causes confusion when people hear about a specific date but do not see anything right away. Processing dates and delivery dates are not the same, and understanding that gap can prevent unnecessary worry. Fraud prevention is another important part of the picture. The IRS applies verification steps to protect against identity theft. If a record shows inconsistencies, a payment may be delayed for review. This does not mean the payment is denied. It means the IRS is confirming that funds go to the correct person. Unfortunately, seniors are often targeted by scams during tax season. When people hear words like stimulus or IRS payment schedule, scammers try to take advantage of fear and urgency. It is important to remember that the IRS does not call, text, or email asking for personal information or payment. Legitimate IRS payments do not require fees, confirmations, or urgent responses. Any request like that is a red flag. Staying calm and informed is the best defense. As January continues, more information will circulate online, and not all of it will be accurate. Some content exaggerates routine IRS activity to create panic or excitement. Seniors are better served by clear explanations and verified processes rather than sensational claims. Understanding how IRS timing works helps keep expectations realistic. Now it helps to connect this IRS timing to the everyday financial reality of seniors. Social Security retirement payments, SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits all follow legally defined calendars. These calendars are not changed by IRS schedules. Late January does not delay, accelerate, or replace benefit payments. If your Social Security payment normally arrives on a certain day, that schedule stays the same. When an IRS payment arrives in January, it is usually separate from benefits and related to taxes. For seniors who file returns, January is when the IRS begins finalizing records. Some seniors file only to report income, while others file to claim refundable credits. If the IRS determines that money is owed, it may be released during this period. Seniors who did not file a return and did not qualify for credits should not expect an IRS payment simply because it is January. Tax withholding from pensions also plays a role. Many retirees have taxes withheld throughout the year. When a return is filed, the IRS compares what was withheld with what was owed. If too much was paid, a refund is issued. Early processing and clean records lead to faster refunds. This is why some people receive payments sooner than others. For seniors receiving SSI, income rules are especially important. Most tax refunds do not count as income for SSI, but records should still be kept. SSDI recipients generally do not see benefit changes because of IRS payments. VA benefits are also separate and not taxable, though some veterans receive other taxable income alongside them. During this time, Seniors should avoid rushing into action based on headlines alone. There is no requirement to contact the IRS simply because late January is mentioned. Official mail should be reviewed carefully and kept for records. Bank statements should be checked calmly, and any IRS deposit should be matched with tax documents. Questions about whether IRS payments are taxable are common. Most refunds are not taxable because they return money already paid. Some credits have special rules, which is why keeping records matters. Medicare updates also happen in January, and changes in net income can make things feel different even when systems are unrelated. Routine IRS payments do not trigger benefit reviews. Reviews happen when income changes are reported, not because a tax correction occurred. Patience is important because processing happens in stages. Delays usually mean verification, not denial. No legitimate service can speed up an IRS payment, and anyone promising that should be avoided. By understanding how these systems work together, seniors can move through January with more confidence and less stress, focusing on their own financial picture rather than worrying about every headline they see.